All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's having themselves a fantastic Tuesday morning and are ready for what will honestly probably be another tumultuous day of trading, choppy all-time highs, and hopefully, right, we can get ourselves a little bit of some clean and smooth price action here today. Yesterday, a little bit of a mixed bag day, right? Some good, some bad, some good. I think really the thing, 2 out of 3 times, I think I did it okay yesterday. I didn't necessarily go down with the ship too aggressively. That continues to be sort of the thing that I want to focus on here. I got like I don't know if it's like a mental block. I don't know if it's me like just telling myself it's a mental block. Um, there's this like feeling I seem to be ignoring a little bit when I know that my idea has like kind of been invalidated subconsciously, and talked about this a little bit in the Discord yesterday, but just learning how to use that feeling as like a trigger for action is something that I've had to be like really aware of, or something I've been really trying to think about a little bit. And so that's something I'm trying to continue to work through. Really, what my objective is, right? And this has kind of been like my theme of the year for 2025 is it's saved on my phone, but it's like detach my trade without ego or emotional drag, right? Master my mindset, trade without ego and emotional drag. And what that means to me is being able to make decisions the second I decide that it's the right thing, and basically just like removing that latency between when the analysis happens and when the execution right of that analysis occurs. I think on some trades I will get the analysis correct and then just like wait to get stopped out, right? Instead of doing something more proactive about it. So I'm trying to like work through that feeling. I think saying it out loud a little bit probably sounds a little bit crazy, but yeah, like that's the one thing I'm just trying to get a little bit more comfortable at, a little bit more confident at here. And yeah, if it doesn't behave well, I'd be rather willing to get out of the trade, try again, or reset than hold on and like drain mental capital. I also think that once the you're in a longer term environment where price action is kind of like mentally draining, kind of pulls like a little bit of the fun out of the game too, right? And yeah, it's not enjoyable. Trading is a lot more enjoyable when you're trading smoothly, right? And you're trading in your zone and in your flow state. When you're outside of like your mental capital sweet spot, right? You don't really behave inside that flow state, and everything else then just feels like a little bit of a drag, or like a little bit heavy maybe. Um, so yeah, really trying to find that flow state, right? Find that smooth opportunity, right? Whatever you want to call it. And hopefully, right, we can get ourselves some good PA, and really just take advantage of whatever momentum is out there. For those of you who sent me your trade journals yesterday, much appreciated. Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing more of those here today. And yeah, let's get after it. Yeah, go. So we'll talk about that once the market opens, or once we have a little bit of a trade going on. I think that's a great question. And we'll talk about how to deal with those scenarios. So remind me in 15 minutes. All right. So we should have some Powell speak here today, right? He's started yapping away about an hour ago. Manufacturing index could be something. All right, fine. For a green candle, decreasing volume gap up. So we're going to call this a weak 2 out of 3 to the downside, or to the upside, sorry. Without volume. And we're looking back towards all-time high. So that's like 63.80. So we're probably looking 63.60, right, as our starting point here. 12 points away. That's pretty reasonable. Then 63.70, 63.80, 63.90, 6400 again at all-time highs. To the downside here, we'd be looking 63.30. Again, not much really changing. Our levels pretty much are remaining the same day to day here, which is kind of annoying. Maybe I could go like 63.40. All right, cool. All right, NQ, stronger looking candle shape, right, than ES. We held above previous highs, right? We didn't really fake out through them. So that for me, right, again, probably a little bit of a better indication that NQ is showing us those signs of momentum. A normal-ish body candle, right? Maybe still a little bit top heavy. Yeah, NQ's like missing an ass a little bit here today. So we're looking for a good amount of continuation here, right? Basically get out of this range. Otherwise, maybe the base expectation here is consolidation. So it's kind of a weird one though, right? It's a stronger candle profile, right? Better close. I mean, arguably the same volume, but then it's a worse kind of pre-market, right? So it is kind of like residually weaker, although it looks kind of stronger. To the upside here, we're looking for 400 and then beyond. And then to the downside here, we're looking at 200. The main thing that I guess I'd probably be concerned about here, right? The implied open is 124 points, we'll say it, from the lows, and about 100 points, we'll call it, right, from the highs. So that's a lot of work to do before we get into like officially breakout markets here again. Maybe the most likely thing on NQ would be consolidation here today, or like an inside bar type setup. Trying to see if we have any other recent examples where we had very wicky price action, opens up in that wick, and then we were able to get through it. I don't see many very obvious examples in this one from April. So I think that for sure is worth kind of watching or worth considering here a little bit. But yeah, I'm not gonna force it or be in too big of a rush. Okay, CL. Pretty pathetic volume there yesterday, all things considered. Pretty range-bound market. We were pretty well off to catch that nice little breakdown trade. But that was the move of the day, right? Maybe the morning was a little bit more aggressive. But yeah, for sure, something in play there. To the downside, we're looking at a 2 out of 3 without volume, right? And probably a weaker 2 out of 3. Now, the difference here on CL versus NQ here, right, is we're already making a lower low under yesterday's low of day, right? NQ, right, it's kind of a weaker candle or not really super enthusiastic. We're still very much in the middle of that range. Same thing there with ES, right? We're kind of opening up near the implied middle third. And CL, you know, we've had a decent overnight move here that's already kind of broken down through yesterday's low of day. So that almost like invalidates some of that weakness to a certain extent. We'd now just like to see volume return in a big way. And that could give us a nice catalyst down towards 65 and beyond. Yeah, don't need to change the levels here too much. So fine. The only thing probably to consider, just going to be aware of that 5% target. We're about a fifth of the way there. So I don't think we're going to hit it today, but we've got space down, we'll say technically to 62.50. So I think stopping at 63 is pretty reasonable. Like this could also be a mean reversion scenario spot, right? Or like ORB fake out, then breakout to the upside scenario. And we'd be targeting 66. And then we're looking maybe up towards like 68. I'd be very skeptical, I think, with the upside move on CL still, but it should be in play. Okay. So Apple 3 for 3 to the upside, week one though. Tesla 1 for 3 to the downside. Microsoft 2 out of 3 to the upside without volume. Okay. Amazon 3 for 3 to the upside. Nvidia 2 out of 3 to the downside without volume. Okay. AMD inside bar gave us the consolidation that we were expecting in Nvidia. Okay. Meta 2 out of 3 without volume. And then Netflix, not quite an inside bar, a little fake out lower. And we'll call this a 1 for 3. Okay, Google 3 for 3. So probably a better indication of trending higher, right, than trending lower. And then VIX hanging out spot 16 spot 76. A couple things I want to talk about here also, right? We're a little bit closer to market open now, so hopefully more people are watching. But a couple things here. So I'm testing something a little bit with NQ and ES as kind of like alternative profit targets. I'm calling them handles. So all the handle is like in ES, it's a 15-point move. In NQ, it's a 65-point move. Just something that I've seen a lot of old school traders, old school like pit traders talk about in books or podcast interviews or in like the Market Wizard series. And so I wanted to kind of overlay it and see if they gave me like a little bit of a different reaction or different maybe potential indication, right, of what levels are. And so the green line here, right, is for ES. The purple line is for NQ, right, because it's the royal ticker. And then our like traditional 2x targets are here to the upside. There's like a little bit of a pattern that I've noticed, specifically in NQ, about it basically making a one handle move on the 1 min time frame. Kind of in the process of, I noticed the pattern last night. So I'm going to be in the process of kind of like back testing it a little bit here over the next couple of days. But it effectively is, if the breakout happens on the second candle of the day, right? So on the 931 candle, and it's a clean breakout pretty much in either direction, you pretty much seemingly get a one handle move very, very often. And that happens in both directions. So in this circumstance, not a clean breakout, right? Doesn't go. This scenario, right? Second candle, not a clean breakout, doesn't go. This scenario, right? Clean breakout gives you that one handle move within like 15 minutes. So something there that I think could be really interesting for us. Excuse me. And yeah, curious to see how it comes together. I don't expect myself to trade that here yet today or anything along those lines. Just a pattern that I noticed a little bit there last night as I was looking at price action. So hopefully, right, it's something that can become actionable and we can turn it into something that's useful for us. But yeah, that's the basic pattern. We'll, like I said, I'll spend a little bit of time back testing it and going through it. And if it basically just outperforms base benchmarks that we have with like the first trade of the day, right, then it generally or would be expected to create the positive alpha. The other thing here, right, is the pattern is very basic. It's just a breakout through. It's not really a breakout on volume or one that's volume dependent. So again, right, that provides maybe a slightly different element that could be in play for us. So we'll talk about that more as things sort of develop, or as I get more information. And like always, when it is appropriate, I'll make you guys all a pretty detailed video and try to code it up and do all that kind of fun stuff. There's another great question here. So now that markets are open, I think this is a really good one for us to talk about. So Ghost, say I miss an entry and the current candle closes as a 3 for 3 candle. Is it acceptable to try to get an entry and use that new candle as a stop, or is that considered chasing? So great question. Let's use yesterday's CL trade here as an example, and we're just going to pretend, right? That volume looked like that. So this was my confirmation candle, right? This was my entry candle. This is the post candle. So we're just going to pretend that this one was a 3 for 3 here to the downside, and you'd be interested in. So yes, theoretically, right, a increasing volume candle like that, acting like new confirmation, holding new lows or holding new highs, would be a reasonable potential trade. The problem here, right, is you have to be considering your risk reward ratios and making sure that they're appropriate. So our target in this trade, right, was like 65.43, that 2R range, where if we're doing that from our entry candle, right, our risk reward zone is approximately 8 cents deep, or even a little bit shallower than that. If you're then going on the next candle, right, you might just not get that pullback, especially if you're going to be using the aggressive entry technique. The aggressive entry technique here wouldn't have given you an appropriate risk reward ratio to have justified taking that trade. On the pullback entry, you might have been able to have gotten it, but have you gotten it by like the skin of your teeth? So as long as you can still justify the risk reward ratio, then yes, it's theoretically a acceptable entry. The problem though is that generally after a big move like that, and half the move already kind of happening, you're probably going to struggle to get an appropriate risk reward or a very tight one. Does that make sense? Again, this would have been a clean breakout, and we would have technically been in. So you might need to refresh it, but mine here is at 256, right? We can do that math. So we've got it 31.25, right? So this should be 62.5, and that's what it is. So mine are fine. Maybe you need to reload it or something. All right. So, I mean, this is exactly how I have it set up. Like the indicator, I mean, let me load it up here. Ah. Sure, let me see here. Okay, so I've just updated the script. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully that now is better. So if you just reload it, it should be appropriate. I need to see how to turn off these trading view notifications. I've gotten like 500 emails from trading view about people viewing the script or liking it or something. My poor inbox is a disaster this morning. Yeah, that updated one then should also have the handles in it. So if you want to also visualize those ideas, feel free to take a look. Again, guys, probably bear with me for like a week. Well, I figured that out, but I mean, I spent all afternoon yesterday playing around with that. So hopefully we can get that done pretty quick. Yeah, so far so slow here. Hopefully I've set it up, Nick, so that by default it loads up how I have it looking. But sometimes you just don't know. I'll be honest, the one thing that like I think consistently probably drives me nuts is I'm so not tech savvy that when technology doesn't work the way that I expect, it's like I'm speaking like some foreign language to my Bluetooth connection or whatever to make it work. Drives me nuts. Yeah, Al might be starting to give us a little bit of oomph. Yeah, Nick, if you're having can't join via Discord, you can join via the YouTube link. It's the exact same stream. So Discord just caps how many people can watch. YouTube does not, but it's really just whatever is more convenient or easier for people. Both options are the exact same. You can find the alternative live stream link here in that exact same titled channel, the live stream link tab, and it'll post you or get you access there. if there's a demand, I mentioned this before. If there's a demand, we could probably do it on Zoom, which again would increase the limit, but there will always be a cap on these non-recorded variants. Yeah, Mark, I would say I probably use the 3, the 5 the most. Yeah, with my funded futures, Rusty. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, the changes to my funded futures, they're looking very, very appealing. Okay, NQ, sorry, didn't hold under that low. So we're still waiting. And almost that one handle move. I like it being called tipster. That's funny. Let's go, Mike. Appreciate that. Yeah, sounds like it. I mean, I like my funded futures. I just wish that their CEO wasn't so sensitive on social media. That guy blocks more accounts than, yeah, I don't know, anything. Yeah, you can tell he's still bullied. I'll be honest with you, Greg. I don't know if he's charming enough to have a wife and a mistress. Again, it's just about made that one handle move, about 65 points. Yeah, clear breakdown, right? Kind of happens. I always laugh when I find out about. Yeah, it's not public, Seth. Indicator's not public because it's not a strategy we really trade at the moment. Oh, not public. Just barely a confirmation. Don't like the divergence between ES and NQ. That bothers me a little bit. And there's that one handle move right there. And if I just bring this up, it'll be really obvious here. But that's where it stalled, right? Right at 65 points. Or that's where right where it hit. Cheers, Mike. Appreciate that. Okay, so I think we got a reasonable path here on NQ. Watch how this thing closes in the next 30 seconds or so. You want this closing as close to 230 as possible, pretty much. Okay, great close. So we know we're already looking for the aggressive entry technique because we've made a lower low. And reference price would be here, 226. So we need to see this thing find some support here pretty quickly. Okay, so we're looking at a 240 stop loss. Be looking at 2 units here. We need to see a breakdown under the blue line and then a gentle pull back into it. And so watching closely, there's our little breakdown. So we can get a gentle pullback now. If it doesn't give it to me here, right, in 30 seconds, I can try this on the 5-min. It's very likely that I'm going to get that increasing volume standard there as well. And well, I think either way now it's going to be looking like a 1 contract position, at least on this time frame. Okay, let's check this on the 5. It'll be the same profit target. Might be able to reset this from a stop loss perspective, right? And be able to justify it. Again, kind of a deja vu type bit of price action here. We're looking at a 223 stop loss. Then a gentle pullback right into 210. And so watching here. All right, sweet guys. So I am in average price 210 on the dot, 2 contracts. Stop loss 223. So in at 210, stop loss 223. Oh, why don't get stuck here? Sorry, my hand was getting stuck on my microphone. Beautiful here, guys. Beautiful. So let's see if this thing can keep pushing lower here, but that was a really good move. Let's see if it's got a bit more juice. Otherwise, I'm getting out and locking in a nice win. Okay, so far so good. All right, guys, I'm out. I am out. All out of this trade. Exit price 169. 169. All out 169. Let's go. Nice work, team. 1536. One and done. Let's go. Everyone catch that? Nice work, John. Yes. Good work, Greg. Good, good. Guys, I will make a confession here, right? So I probably closed this trade a little bit early. The reason why I closed this trade where I did, right at that 169, is I am sick and tired of seeing my wins turn into small wins. So for me, right, take it, run. $1,500 is an awesome day, right? 30 seconds. So I don't think I should have, like, I didn't have a technical reason to have closed the trade. Like, that's the confession I'm making here. I closed because too many trades in the last little bit, right? I've had moves that happen, maybe not that quickly, but had moves that happen and then reverse that quickly. I feel like I don't want to deal with that, right? That feels like shit. So I'd rather close. I mean, now it's 30 points early than 30 points too late. Does that make sense? So I'm trying to solve for like my own greed here effectively instead of allowing that to be a trigger. I feel like I've been closing, or like, let's put it this way, right? I feel great closing where I did at that 169, right? $1,500, incredible day. Like, you can never complain about that. But if you went to like 2,000 and then you closed at 1,000, the difference between that 1,500 and that 500, right? Like that you actually, the difference that you gave away, that feels a lot worse than the difference between making 1,500 or 2K, right? And I find that giving away the profits and seeing a big win evaporate, there's no like more tilting feeling, in my opinion. So I'm trying to protect myself from that because I think that's where my mental capital has been really drained from the last we'll say like 2 weeks or so. Is I've just left so much money on the table, it's driven me insane that I'm not letting myself do that. Like yesterday we talked about how when I see my price pull back, like this feeling here right now would be the worst feeling, right? So it's realizing that, hey, this, I don't have to deal with this. If it's strong, I can always look to jump in at another opportunity. That was such a quick move. I don't think we're going to get another go. Love it, Patrick. Good to hear and excited to see your journal, man. So again, I don't care that I left 30 points on the table. That for me is not important. I'm happy that I protected myself from myself, didn't allow myself to get greedy. And honestly, guys, that was like a 3-minute trade. That was crazy fast. Not even. It was 2 minutes. Not just under 2 minutes. So that was wild. Oh yeah, Mike. It's honestly the best feeling in the world. Let's fucking go, Logan. Nice work. Paying for that office already. Nice job. Oh, let's go, Rusty. Turning your celebrity status here today into a lot of PNL. I am thrilled for you, man. That's fantastic. Is this the official start of dad strength season? Is that what that means, maybe? And give us a ballpark, Rusty. Give the people the information they're looking for. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, sounds good. But to give us a hint, is it mortgage paying or better? Nice work. Hey, $530 is a great day. I mean, $530 in like 3 minutes. Like you almost can't make money faster than that. Hey, Doug, journal that nervousness, right? Write that down in your journal. Remind yourself, right? That's why maybe you felt a little bit nervous. Send that my way and let's review. So I think that's a really good data point and really happy that the trade worked out for you. Let's go, Jared. Is that one contract? Fantastic. Nice work, team. Well, now you're starting to sound like a real trader, Rusty. What do you mean P&L is meaningless? Let's fucking go. $3,100. There's a high water mark for the day. Let's go, team. I love it, guys. I love it. Oh, honestly, that's the best feeling in the world. Best feeling in the world. All right, do you guys want to hear another secret here? So I've been talking about been tracking my sleep score, right? And like really trying to improve that. So last night I had a perfect 100 sleep score. Love that, John. Send that my way too. And yeah, no correlation. Perfect sleep score to really good trading day. But yesterday was the first night with like one of those 8 sleep systems. Oh man. I've never been so excited to go to bed again. Patrick, got to get that up. Yeah, I do, Mike. I do. I need to yeah, I gotta stop trying to be social. I gotta start going to bed at 9 o'clock more often. But the main thing, or the reason why I mean I think I feel so refreshed, is looking at my stats. Yesterday took me 5 minutes to fall asleep. On average, takes me about an hour. So that extra hour of sleep, man, it's making a huge difference. Hell yeah, team! What a day. Yeah, I get that, Mike. I get that. I'm having fun, Logan. You having fun? Yeah, team, I'm not going to place any further trades here today. I'm obviously very happy with today's trading session. That pretty much worked out perfectly. So I'm not going to do anything else, right? 15, 13, 56 on the day. Like I can't really justify placing any further trades. So happy to sit around, answer any questions, anything like that. But yeah, I'll be honest, my feet are going to be up here for the next little bit. It's it sounds like me a couple years ago. I mean, it's been red, right, for the last 10 spins. It's got to be black now. It's got to be black. Can you send me a link to their website, Patrick? I'd love to take a read at their rules. I wouldn't really be able to answer that question without being able to do some research. They just introduced a bunch of new plans, and then they increased the payout cap. So before they push it live, you take 100K worth of payouts. Okay, so it sounds like, Patrick, you're in the sim brokerage stage, right? So you have to just basically make back your drawdown number. So if your drawdown is 3K, you have to get back to 3K or 3001, and then any dollar over that 3000 you can withdraw as profit. That makes sense? That's sort of my understanding of it. Oh, guys, I'm so happy we caught a nice trend day here today. I'm honestly so happy about that. Yeah. In the trading doc section, John. Trading docs. Um, would you guys, and bear with me, this might be a little bit outside of my immediate way to do it, but would you guys prefer if the journal was like hosted on my website? You just go in, fill it in, and then an email gets sent to you with the copy, and an email gets sent to me. Do you guys like that? Would that maybe be easier than the Google Docs? I think that would be doable. So the other thing, guys, look, I think TradeZilla is fine, and I think all those automated journals are fine. But I think that the way that you actually, and like this is survivorship bias here, Patrick, right? But I think that the way that you actually get better yourself is you make that like uh screen to brain to hands connection, right? So I feel like I learn a lot more and notice patterns a lot more, and I'm forced to like write it out by hand or on my computer and like to fill in all those notes myself. I find that to be like a little bit more of an effective debrief. Whereas TradeZilla, like it's really good for um like I would view it better as a portfolio performance tracking tool than a journal tool, because it'll give you stuff like sharp ratios, and it'll give you win rates and like metrics in that context. But I think from like a day-to-day trade perspective, I generally think that you're better served using my template. Obviously, I've got biases there, but I think that my template is pretty sick. So I do have a correction on my exit price. Exit price was 23,169.50. I think I said 169. So do apologize for that. So 40 and a half points, though. That's not a bad day at the office, guys. Not a bad day at the office. Um, and then Ryan, I don't know if you're still watching here, but I gotta say thank you to you, sir. You sent me a bunch of your trades yesterday, right? And honestly, it just got me thinking the whole time about closing profit, right, as P&L is increasing. Kind of talked about that in your journal. Sorry to put you on blast, but I think just really focusing on that, right? I think we both had a really good focus on that here today. And yeah, like reviewing it, right, actually made me better here this morning. So I always say to you guys, right, like uh I want you all to be very selfish in your pursuit of trying to get better and improving, because forcing like me to look through your trades and to look through your stuff, it gives me like each variant of how I could possibly trade, right? So it also forces me to think and also forces me to improve. So like I want you guys to be overwhelming me with trade feedback, because I do believe it fundamentally makes me better. So Ryan, hopefully it helped you improve too, but it also helped me improve. And so I just want to say thank you. It really made me think about closing all night. I was thinking about it. Yeah, that sounds about right, Patrick. Uh, Okay, really, really good day, team. Hey, Mark, congratulations. 8K by Tuesday. That's pretty awesome, man. Mike, appreciate you, man. Really appreciate that. Okay, so let's journal this out. So this was kind of the setup. And then take profit here. Okay. Sweet. So back to all-time highs in the portfolio. No complaints. Yeah, Mark, send me a message. We can work something out. And I appreciate you saying that, man. Sometimes yeah, sometimes I oh, no, I don't know what I was gonna say there. Hey, appreciate that, Brooke. And yeah, for sure. Like I think I wore the pain of the ending the winning streak pretty heavy. I wore that pretty heavy late last week, maybe even early this week. But I was saying this actually to someone the day the streak ended, once the 27 days ended, and it was crazy to me how one red day in that process felt so much worse than all the 27 days before that combined. Like it was crazy to me how quickly I forgot how how good my trading had been for like the 40 days before, and then like the one day of pain. We had 2 days of pain last week. It felt like I had the weight on my shoulders, like the weight of the world on my shoulders. And Like that is such like a bullshit self-imposed limiting belief. Like saying it out loud like makes you realize how ridiculous it is. So yeah, I don't know. I was probably too stressed about that when I shouldn't have been. I should have been out celebrating instead of feeling sorry for myself. So part of the game, but yeah, for sure. Like there are going to be times where you trade well. There are going to be times where you don't trade well, and there are going to be times where you like kind of get off course a little bit. So you need to have the you got to be humble enough, I guess, to be able to slow yourself down sometimes. Like I'm like the reason I traded micros in that context, right, is because I'm a big believer that sizing down my trades removes like 90% of my trading problems. It's generally when I'm trying to like do things really quickly, when I'm trying to like skip steps, when I'm trying to think like, oh, this is close enough. That's generally when I get punished the most by Mr. Market. So generally slowing down, it forces me to like remove that excitement away from trading, like the P&L excitement. And once that occurs, you're able to survive your learning curve to a certain extent, but you're able to like kind of get like a bird's eye view over how you're trading or what you're doing. And go from there. Oh, for sure, Jerry. Yeah. Like for sure. Like trading is a game of probabilities, right? So I know that I'm not optimizing decisions for my next outcome. I'm optimizing for my next 100. But I think that regardless of P&L, there's a certain there's an ego thing to being correct and to being correct often. You kind of start to feel like your shit don't stink. And then you get a whiff of yourself and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm horrific. So I think that there's like a little bit of that for when you have a losing day after a good streak. You kind of get like yeah, a whiff of yourself a little bit and you're like, oh, actually I'm not as good as I thought I was. And so it becomes quite humbling. Let's go, Patrick. Oh, me too, Mike. They're the best. Sounds good, Greg. Enjoy the rest of your day. Well done, Corinna. Great to see you making money here on a Tuesday. Oh, it's the best feeling, Patrick. It's the best feeling. I didn't even get to finish my first coffee of the day here today. That says a lot. And Patrick, don't think about it for like 5 more days. Like this. Think about it as 5 more days of following my rules, and I'll get there. Appreciate that, Jerry. I've spent or let's how do I phrase this? So besides trading, I think probably the best thing I ever did in my entire life when I moved to London, I didn't live in my university's student housing. I lived in like private student accommodation. And so what that meant is I didn't live with any lawyers. Thank God. I lived with my first year in London. I lived with an opera singer. I lived with a couple like costume designers. I lived with an audio guy. And so I lived with people that were like so far outside of my comfort zone of like who I was. and I got to meet their friends, and I got to get to know some people like outside of my niche. Yeah, and uh, I really value those experiences because uh, I don't I don't feel like just like a stereotypical Wall Street brat. I feel a little bit more well rounded, and so it's like it's pushed me into hobbies. Long story short, it's pushed me into hobbies that have given me a really cool, from my perspective, really cool kind of stuff. Like it got me really into photography and really got me into music and really got me into those kind of things. Where I probably would have been listening to Coldplay and um, yeah, drinking bullshit lagers if I was just living with lawyers. Yeah. I think so too. Yeah. And there's a thing in the UK where if like you get a student loan, but then on your job, when you graduate, you don't make X amount, then you don't have to pay back that student loan. I might be butchering that a little bit, but that's kind of how I remember it. And so there was a lot of actors and singers and yeah, creative types who were willing to pursue that at a higher level without necessarily a ton of financial pressure. So that was a pretty cool system. But making £25,000 a year living in London, good luck. So I appreciate the desire to be creative, but the capitalist in me likes to view it, not live it. I'm sorry about that, Willard. It happens. So if you join DTR Full Time, the stream is also hosted inside Discord. Yeah, I mean the capitalist in me cries at that thought, but no, one of my favorite my last I don't know why I'm going down memory lane like this here today, but I lived in this place in East London, an absolute dump. It was an absolutely atrocious council flat, but there was like awesome bars and pubs around, and there was one where on Sunday afternoons, they would do like sing-alongs. Sounds crazy, but you just go to the bar or you go to the pub. Everyone orders a couple pints, and you would just sing like old war songs, and everyone would be singing them and dancing around and jumping around and all this kind of stuff. And those were some of the funnest Sunday afternoons. I'll tell you that much. And just the most yeah, eclectic group of people would be at that pub. It was a good time. All right, team, enough down memory lane. I'm gonna go get some breakfast here. So final call for questions. Final call for questions. Yeah, absolutely. Austin, I think, would be a lot of fun for that. Love it, John. Well done here today. All right, team. Well, same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Like I said, right? I want to see your trade recap. Send them my way, please. It makes, like I said, makes me better. And today, really good example of that. So much appreciated. Yeah, and same deal like always, guys. If you have any questions, hit me up. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, have yourselves a fantastic morning, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow for what should hopefully be another fantastic trading day. So see you then.